Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Welcome to Forget Work, Watch Films with your hosts, Tony Howe, Thomas Connors, and Robert Connors.
Welcome everybody to episode 40 of Forget Work, Watch Films.
Episode 40, part 2.
Deja vu, Tenet.
We just did it. We usually do this live, don't we? There's no edits, there's no...
Yeah, like hiccuping.
There's no edits or we don't do anything with it. We just record it.
It's all natural. Like if you'd have heard episode 39, you might have heard a lot of squeaky toy. That's because Tom's favourite squeaky toy.
Listen, I was a single parent trying my best.
Single parent.
Yeah, we just started recording an episode and Tony slipped up. Slip of the tongue, so started it again.
Start again, but obviously you guys get the full.
Yeah, and if you want to find out what he said, his number's 07.
Yeah, well, right. So obviously I'm hosting this week, and with me as per usual are my friends Tom and Rob.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Hope you're doing well in this COVID business. It's actually stressing me out, but
It's giving me hiccups.
Keep pushing on.
That's stress, that.
Hiya.
He's just chilled out, watching too much on Netflix. So, first off I want to start off with is movie news. So, what have you been hearing? What's on the grapevine? Tom?
MCU has all been delayed by a long stretch.
Well, it's not MCU, is it? It's what is the... Because obviously West Side Story in MCU.
That's Spielberg.
No, but everything's been delayed. But the domino effect has been even bigger on the MCU because the films that they weren't planning on releasing for a year or two have all been pushed back in order for them to fit Black Widow and Eternals in. So it's been a knock-on effect. The MCU is like miles down the line.
Which is allowing
Eternals, Shang-Chi. That's been delayed.
Yeah, that's been. So there's a lot. I mean, I think at the minute that everybody's a bit MCU.
Oh, Wonder Woman, and that been rescheduled.
Probably.
No, everything has. Everything.
It's because America's not functioning yet. America's cinemas are very, very minimal, aren't they? We're open. In the UK, you could go to any cinema, can't you?
But there's not much that I think there's only...
No, this is what I'm saying.
There's Tenet, New Mutants, Bill and Ted 3. That's about it.
America's a bigger market, though, isn't it? And because they're not open, that affects restaurants, doesn't it? So America, get your shit together because we want to watch some
another
more.
massive one as well is China, because they were open and then they closed them again.
Yeah, but they've only had that 4,000 deaths, haven't they?
Yeah. Well, they probably had more. But you know what China's like. So
the lovely people.
No, about the obviously government secretive and stuff like that.
No,
Is that a conspiracy theory that you've got?
Yeah.
No two ways about it. We've had 40,000 deaths. Largest populated country in the world's had 4,000. I don't think so.
I think that's totally wrong.
We're not starting this again. No, right.
I'm Rob, by the way. This voice is Rob.
Right, Rob, over to you.
Yeah.
Movie news.
Yeah. Well, I think, and don't quote me on the figures because I'm not 100% sure. I think Tenet. So there was an argument of should it be released, should it be streamed? Because obviously a lot of films are coming straight to digital. Nolan did it to save the cinema. And Tenet has not made as much money as what Mulan did, which had a £30 price tag to buy it on Disney+. Mulan's been more successful than what Tenet has.
Tenet were shit. If it were good, we'd have gone back and watched it.
Do you think that were... obviously it's a successful move, but obviously a clever move by them by doing that. I mean, at the end of the day, Tenet, Milan, very different markets. You've got all these people who are still sort of like isolated, still got to keep the kids entertained. You're not going to stick Tenet on. Well, you can't anyway, but Milan's a nice thing to stick on for your kids.
Yeah, I think
or
that's
your
it.
dog.
Also, as well, if a family of 5 go to cinemas, you need an arm and a leg to pay for it.
Well,
so
that's it.
If 19, 30 quid, it's easy, but you know, it sets a precedent for future, doesn't it? I don't think there's ever a chance Black Widow's coming out on digital.
No,
you know what
they'll
I mean?
keep.
That's not
there'll be
happening.
some big hitters that they don't. But like, I know you said before, Tom, that sort of like Cineworld and sort of like companies like that are losing.
Cineworld, it's on radio today. Have lost over £1 billion in 6 months.
You can believe.
But of course they have, because their bread and butter's gone. There's no films. What are they
Well, there's
supposed
no
to do?
films, so there's no bums on seats. There's nobody. I mean, their highest margin must be alt food.
Oh, it
and
is
stuff
by
like
far.
popcorn and
Somebody
stuff
told
like
me
that.
they buy massive bags in for 30p a bag.
Yeah,
No,
And then they
I've
sell it
seen
for
it.
imagine how much money
I've seen
they
it.
make.
What's that TV chef called who mixes like bacon and ice cream and that? Eston
Oh,
Blumenthal.
Eston Blumenthal.
He did a special in Cineworld.
Yeah, I saw that. I remember that.
And he showed you the bags of popcorn. They buy a full sack of the popcorn kernels, massive.
Yeah.
It's like less than 5p.
Yeah,
And
and then
minus.
have you seen?
A box of popcorn is £5.
Yeah,
I always
massive.
buy popcorn though. I bought some for Tenet. If it's a movie I'm buzzing for, I've got to have popcorn.
I don't normally buy it because I don't. The prices are just stupid.
Yeah, they are. It's just I like the cinema feel. I buy it more for the whole sort of. Or
Yeah.
You get a discount with your Cineworld card. Do you have a Cineworld card, sir? No.
Yeah. I do. I've got an unlimited card. It's in my wallet.
But yeah, it's crazy times, isn't it?
Well, let's cross fingers and hope that things aren't going to get any worse. But we said that last time.
Hey, listen, it's not getting worse. It's it is if you
we're
pay
taking-
attention
we're
to
taking
news.
control, and basically that's what we need to do. Only other thing, movie news that I've seen lately, and it was something else I read, and I don't want to really talk about it, but it was just
You're not
something-
going to talk about Snyder Cut.
yeah, because it was just I was sat there, and it popped up, and it said Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill have gone in to do reshoots, and I thought,
I'm sure I already knew
and I
that.
thought, excuse my language, but I thought, effing hell. I thought they're still banging on and still doing stuff with that.
Yeah, but have you seen what budget's gone up to now?
Budget for what?
70.
Budget for a film that's already been released.
No.
And it's still ongoing. They're still working on it. How many years from beginning of that and end of this bleeding Snyder Cut will that film have been worked on?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
They've announced now the budget is going to be upwards of £70 million. 70 million.
Crazy. So I'm going to move off that. It just annoyed me that I just thought that they're still... I know we're still spending time talking about it, but they're still spending money doing a
Beating a
film
dead
that's been...
horse.
It'd be like saying, right, we're going to do reshoots on Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, but this is my argument, right? And you know, fine to everyone who's looking forward to it, but if it really is so different to the Joss Whedon one, why release that in the first place? They shouldn't have released it.
No.
They should have put it in a vault.
I keep saying it just makes them look like idiots, but there you go. We'll soon... the proof will be in the pudding, as they say.
You'll have to let me know what it's like.
I will. I'm going to watch it. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Yeah, I probably will, yeah.
I will do. Right, moving on. Movie news over. Obviously, we've talked about cinema and about not being able to go and watch new films. And I tell you what, I hadn't really watched a new film other than Bill and Ted 3.
Which one
and
really
Tenet. It was shit. Really on. So, I want to talk about TV. Because I watch a lot of TV. And I'm interested in what your two as unconventional sort of like, because you've got your hard drive, you've got like Sky and stuff, so how your viewing habits are with TV. Because when I come in, I've got TV Guide, I look and I see my missus should watch Emmerdale, and then we look, see what's on at 8, see what's on at 9, and I watch a lot of terrestrial TV. but I know for a fact that you two don't.
No, never.
Not really. You do a bit more, Rob, because I know you do watch sort of stuff that are like 24 Hours in Police Custody.
Right, good.
Nice documentaries. But you, Tom, you watch more like stuff off Netflix and things like that. So I'm intrigued about that, because I think years ago you used to obviously just have your terrestrial TV and that's what you've got. But now you've got all this all-encompassing. You could have Netflix, you could have Amazon. So I'll start with you, Tom. What is your sort of like nightly routine? I'm interested in, and then I'll move to you, Rob.
I don't know. I never really put telly on. I just get in, sit down, play on my phone, and then we'll say to each other, "What do you want to watch?" And then we either go to Netflix or Amazon Prime and just flick through. We never ever look through normal TV.
Does she not watch any soaps or all like that?
No, the only thing she watches is Casualty, so she'll catch up on it on the iPlayer now and then. But if there's a program that has been on terrestrial, like Des last week or whatever, I just want to go back and say by the end of it I found it really boring.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was
so
boring.
I think there weren't enough
I like
David Tennant.
No, but I like the nitty gritty. I like to see what he did rather than watch him talk about it. I will say the fourth one they did that you mentioned, where they went back and did a documentary on it, that was brilliant. That was really good.
Yeah.
That showed you some. So, but yeah, if there's a program that we want to watch and we miss, we'll go and watch it on catch up. But otherwise, we just kind of flick through Netflix, or we'll say to each other in conversation. Like recently, because it's this time of year, we're coming up to the Halloween season. We went through all the Scream films, so we kind of like in conversation on dog walk say, "Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind getting on with that. I wouldn't mind watching that." But that's how we kind of work. But to be honest with you, we went to watch a film last night and we ended up just scrolling.
There can be too much of it.
Yeah, we narrowed it down to 3 films that we were going to watch. And then we spent about 20 minutes arguing over which one to watch. We had The Notebook, Below with Johnny Depp, which I've never seen. And
I've seen that.
The Imitation Game. 3 films that we wanted to watch. Now, The Imitation Game had a very good write-up, so we were.
Brilliant. Watch
but
it.
when I read the synopsis of it, it just sounded a bit too heavy going for how we were feeling at the time.
Yeah.
So we settled on The Notebook.
Sorry, filling up already.
Yeah, you know what?
You'll have to watch that.
It got to a bit where I thought, please don't ask me all days, because you know where you like, you know what your voice to quiver.
See, I know Rob will never watch that because he don't watch romantic films.
You know what? Ryan Gosling in that, I had to look into how old he was because he looked so young in it. But he was 24, but it is a quality film.
It's a great film.
You know what I liked about it? I watched it, and when you watch it like now, this kind of like. It's a stupid thing to say because it's like it was the same as when the film was out, but I feel like it's more so now. You're watching this period film where there's no social media, there's no internet, there's no anything, and it's just a classic kind of like story. Do you know what I mean? Even because obviously the film is set in kind of flashbacks, and in the present day in the film, you kind of don't get that internet kind of. It's very basic kind of story, but it's
such a good film. It is a classic.
It is
classic love story.
You know, an interesting thing I read about that film, the way it was made. You know, kind of like
what the fuck is going on?
You know how there's a bit of like a big gap in between in the middle. Well, they filmed the second part first, where Ryan Gosling has like his beard and stuff, and then once they'd filmed that sequence, they then put production on hold. He had a shave, but then lost 2 stone as well, so they could film the start of the film, and he looked mega younger, which is when they first met. It's a quality film. It is. If anybody's listening, and
I'll have to. We've lost Rob because we're talking about romantic films, but it is. I'll have to sum up. It is a classic.
Yeah, I love Titanic. That's a good film.
Yeah, it's very surprising because you won't watch any romantic.
No, but you know what? It's very similar to Titanic.
Yeah,
because it's like. Titanic is a tragic love story, and I don't want to spoil Notebook, but it's not smooth sailing for him, like Titanic. But it's good film. It's very, very well acted.
So, Rob, what's your sort of routine?
Yeah, do you know what I do? I always see, the thing is, I like you said, real life stuff. So this, for example, 24 Hours in Police Custody. It's fascinating to me. I love it, but I always I always prioritise stuff. So I'll know. Say if I'm watching a movie, like the other night I sat down to watch a movie, but I were a little tired, and I make a specific night to make sure I watch it because I like to watch stuff properly. But lately, what I have been doing a lot is just putting telly on in bedroom and I'd never used to do it, but just watching movies on TV with ad breaks and stuff. I've never done it before.
Katie watch? She watch Coronation Street?
She did before, but
not bloody Coronation Street, but
she's all I think she just watches them. I think she's either that busy with work she don't watch them or she watches them on her phone. But basically, the nights never took up with that because more often than not, swear to God, I am bored as all. I'm always, but I'm not. I'm never the kind of person ever that would browse Netflix and just find something to watch. It's always planned in advance what I watch. Always. I never, unless like I say I turn it on and flick through channels, but I never think, well, I'll go through Netflix. You know what? Yeah, that looks alright. We'll watch that. Never ever do it. But
see, I think what I'm trying to come at is there's different. We have very different ways. Like you're I do what you do, Tom. I do sort of like spend like hours looking for something to watch,
but
and then you ended up wasting an hour.
You come
looking.
Across a film you would have never normally watched. Like I would have never watched Notebook.
But then I also look at TV guides so I can plan ahead, so I know. Like, hang on, Wednesday, reported missings on. I'll watch that. And Thursday, this is on, so we'll watch that. So I do set up my week already.
I'm like sort of very strong, Matt. So if we mention a film on this podcast and say we'll watch it next week, I will 1,000%, 100% watch it. Always, I will. You know what I mean? If there's something on my schedule, no matter what, I'll watch it. And the thing is, if I sit down to watch it and I'm a bit tired, I have to watch it. I'll tell you one thing about me, which is interesting, right? You might not find it interesting, but it is.
Go on.
I cannot watch. I hate watching films on my own. Can't do it. I hate watching them on my own. Can't do it. I can't.
See, I have to. Because Claire's not that into films.
I can't do it. I have to have somebody to talk to about the film at the end.
Yeah.
I have to have somebody to. If me and Kate are going to watch.
You're very lucky to have that. Everybody's got that.
If we're going to sit and watch a film, if you said go and watch that. The last film I watched on my own, like the big major film that I wanted to watch, was Parasite. That was it, and it genuinely, I had it because what I do is I get all my movies, I download them, I might buy them online, put them on my computer, keep them in my hard drive. I've got a massive collection. And Parasite, when I put it on, it was one of them. You must have this moment. You got it ready to push play, but it takes you about 15 minutes. To pull trigger and go for it and put it on because I've got it loaded up. I've got it loaded up and I'm thinking I don't know if I can watch this. So this isn't my thing. I don't want to watch this, but because obviously she were busy, I were on my tab, and I thought, you know what, I'll give it a try. But I don't know. It's like going at movies. I completely understand why you're good at cinemas on your own, but I don't. That's why I'm a bit unsure of these new Marvel shows that are going straight to Disney Plus. Because where's the sort of camaraderie as all going together to watch the new Marvel film and Stinger comes on at the end and we go,
what you mean.
Oh, that's gone.
But we'll still talk about it on chat. I think another thing that's changed is binge watching.
Well, that's another thing, yeah.
The ability to, like you said, you were too tired to watch something. Sometimes now when I'm watching, like I put Poirot on last night, Death on the Nile, not the new film, the TV version. And I went like halfway through and started to nod off. So I thought, well, I'll just stop that. Because it were on ITV playing. And I'll know I can then carry on tomorrow. So it's not now, you're not like forced to like... Joe, where before it, if something's on telly, you were like, oh God, I've got to like watch this for another hour, but I want to go to bed. But if not, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
You can now come back to stuff.
I think I've had to be a bit more relaxed as well, because I'm quite sort of strict with what films I watch, I suppose. But I've been catching all these random odd films on telly, and now I'm sort of like, you know what? Yeah, I'll watch it. I'm never like, I have to watch it in surround sound, on screen, lights off, door shut. But these films I've seen before, I've watched a lot more like that lately, which I never used to. We'll just watch something in bed.
But with certain stuff, like when you watched that The Fall,
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you didn't watch that. Like,
Did you get watching
No,
that?
I couldn't find it.
Got
it
so
went-
boring,
It went
that.
top player.
Got so boring.
But you like before, you'd have to watch that like Monday.
Yeah.
Then wait till next Monday to watch it. It's like when we were watching Broadchurch. I couldn't wait. So I found it on iPlayer. And we absolutely hammered it like 3 episodes.
See, that's
a
another
night.
thing.
Because if you watched it, it were 8 episodes. That's 2 months.
I tell you
So
something.
yeah.
No,
I
yeah,
tell you
I agree.
something now, right? I would never, ever, ever in a million years binge watch a show on my own. I would never watch a TV show on my own, no matter what it is, ever. I just wouldn't do it.
Nothing.
No. Katie watches. She's watched everything. The Wire, 24, House of Cards. She's watched them all. She'll watch them at a pace.
So you won't watch films on your own. You won't watch TV shows on your own. So when Kate is like busy doing some work
I know. I'm
upstairs,
bored. I'm bored.
well, just put something on.
I know,
Watch a
I know.
TV show.
Well, I'll
there
flick-
must be TV shows that you think
No.
she'll not like this.
No.
What do you do? Do you do
Most
that?
of the
Or-
time, if she's busy, it's usually on a weekend. Or why, I don't know, if it's an odd midweek day. I'll put football on. Or I'll just... we watch films together and stuff. Unless there's something that pops into my head and I think, oh yeah, I want to watch that like a classic film like Terminator or something like
Yeah.
that. But if it's something that I haven't seen, I will wait and say to her, should we watch that together? But yeah, normally I just put football on or something like that. That's my kind of... I don't know.
I'm tricky
Yeah.
with TV shows because that's why she's watched them all, because she knows I can't keep up at her pace. She will watch 8 episodes in a row. If I watch
See, I do
1
that.
or 2, because if I slightly get tired, I lose interest. I have to, unless I'm heavily invested. But
I just find it intriguing, and this is one of the things I want to talk about for quite a bit. Is the TV, because
Yeah.
I'm still a very what I consider a very traditional TV viewer.
I probably
when
would
I
be.
read TV guides.
My aerial don't work. That's
And
why I don't watch
that
terrestrial.
don't help when you TV. But I
But
know
then, you know,
you-
even then though, when I look at TV Guide and I see everything on, I don't know what it is, it just pisses me off. The things
See,
that are
don't you
listed
watch
don't
don't
tick
you
my...
watch any like documentaries and stuff?
Yeah.
See,
Nothing.
we like 24 hours in police custody. We like
No,
Oh,
anything,
no, I have
anything
watched
that's
that on
like a
Catch Up.
real life, Joe, where it's like it's followed through. Like we watched that reported missing.
well, can I say? So I never, like I say, I don't watch stuff on my own. But I'd not watched it last week. But since last week's podcast, I've watched Des. Watched it with Katie, right?
Right.
And I watched the 3 episodes, and the main thing of that is David Tennant, and his portrayal is unreal.
I think it's amazing.
It is.
I think he's absolute. To me, he's when he's on screen, you're transfixed by
But
him,
do you know
which
what?
is obviously the way that you would have been by that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know? This is just my 2 cents here, but I kind of think, you know, if they knew he were going to play that as great as he did, they'd have written him in more. I think they'd have done it. They'd have showed more of him and how he did it and what he did. I think the angle they took, you take him away, it's just a police drama, which I would never watch. You know what I mean? But so it was good. I enjoyed it. A bit sort of boring by end, but I like I say, I love courtrooms type stuff, so I was fascinated. So,
I loved him. I thought you were brilliant.
one of the
Just
most
got boring.
one of the most prolific UK serial killers of all time, Dennis Nielsen. Sick. But Katie was very, very, very busy this week, so you know what I did? I watched the 4th episode. So David Tennant,
Narrated the documentary.
and I wouldn't usually do it, but I watched it on my own, right?
Well, I did. I'd watched them with Claire, and we loved it. But I found I were having trouble with iPlayer, and I managed to get it back. So I did watch that on
and
my
I tell you
own.
something, it were making me feel sick. It were disturbing me. By the end of the episode, at one point I thought I might turn this off, because answer me this, right? Why watch something like that? You're following the antics of a sick serial killer, and like the victim's family say at the end, there's more focus on him than there is the victims, and that is true.
Well,
like,
it is,
how many
because-
times? There's certain stories in UK history like that I can't watch. That I'm not even going
But
to.
it's because he's at a level
It's so
that
far
he's-
from reality.
Yeah,
isn't it?
that you cannot wrap your head round the things that he actually did. And I
Yeah.
reckon there were more to what they said, because they said there were more
Well, that
he didn't say.
That detective says at one point it wasn't addressed in court, but we have evidence to show that he made love to his victims' bodies. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking, why am I watching this?
Yeah.
There's many more things I could be doing than watching this. I don't understand. You know what I mean? It's sick. It's grim.
See, there were that, they re-showed that this week and all that. It was called Appropriate Adults. I don't know if you ever saw
You'll
that.
not find roles
Yeah,
in
with,
there.
I've not seen it.
Emily Watson from
Yeah.
from the Red Dragon, who
Dominic
seems to
West,
keep,
innit?
She keeps popping
Dominic
up on
West
this
from
podcast.
Sheffield.
Yeah.
And I saw that were back on, and I thought, I'll mention it.
Well, we know
and
why
when I
they-
get a chance, I'll mention it to Claire, and we'll watch that together because it's on iPlayer.
Yeah, you know the only reason I know that's come back out is because it were on BBC News website today. One of the victims' families from the Fred West murders has come out and said it's like disrespecting or something.
Well,
like
this
that.
is the thing.
But they do, yeah. But of course, and it's like Rob said. Why are we watching this guy? He's sort of like glamorising, and maybe that's why they didn't show too much David Tennant's character, because it's like he says to him, that author. He says it's not about you.
It's about justice.
It's about the unbelievable acts that you've done. It's about getting your head round this person, not as a person, but as an entity.
when police
exists.
when they walk in kitchen and pots on stove, he says, "I'm going to open that if I were you."
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
It was that
you know, if
first
you were
bit-
on shift, I says, imagine being on that shift.
Joke bit that I thought were best, even though every bit with David Tennant, but it were when they walked into the flat, and as a police officer who's dealt with murder, you must have sort of like an instinct, or you know what's going on, and he just goes, and he turns to him and he says,
Come on then.
"Where a body?" And that he don't say, "Oh, else," but he knows straight away just with the smell.
Didn't he say cut the bollocks?
Yeah, where are the bodies? And he goes, "Well, there's one in there, and there's one in there."
Well, the same detective was on the final episode talking about it.
Yeah.
Again, why? It's just.
Thing is, that were his flat and all, and he had loads at his old property, and they had to go there and dig it all up.
Well,
Can you imagine whoever lived at that property?
Well, I've seen that so he had like a top floor flat, didn't he? Have you seen people who've bought that since?
No.
So all houses in that neighbourhood were selling for 600 grand ish. They bought that one for 400, done it out, and they've said, well, we don't really care what's happened here before. We're out, and they've made it right nice. You wouldn't even know it was that.
Yeah.
Which is surprising. You'd think they'd demolish it, wouldn't you? Did you know that they found, when they were checking in the garden of his home, they found teeth after teeth, and braces and, mouth guards. And to get them all tested would have cost over $1 million in Germany. So they decided against it, but they would have found many dozens more
Well,
victims.
it would cost it cost it. But another thing
What
that
a
amazed me and shows you how far science and police work has moved is when he sat holding a phone picture, going through one after other. So there's not a program doing it. There's not like you put it into database and computer programs. He's physically looking at thousands of thumbprints. We wanted a picture, and I thought, imagine that, just having to do stuff like
Tell
that.
you what, I've been really stressed out last week or so, right? And I watched that, and it were so. Tell you what else I've watched this week. I wanted to watch, obviously, the new big movie.
So we moved on now to watching, which is what I wanted to link in anyway. But nice link, Rob.
Yeah. So I watched that, and I thought, how things are now, like this COVID bollocks and all this stuff, and we watched that, so negative and horrible, and it's like, why? I'm not keen on watching depressing stuff, but I decided to watch the latest movie, starring Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, other big names, The Devil All the Time. Have you watched that?
I've not seen it. I've seen the trailer, but I've not watched the film.
Yeah. I
Have you watched this film?
Yeah, I watched it.
Right,
Yeah.
so is it one of these again where he hates it and you
No,
like it?
no,
'Cause
it's-
I know for a fact that I'm sure you told me you liked it.
No, yeah, it's good. Tom Holland's best film, hands down. Apart from the Avengers series, outside of because I don't think his Spider-Man films are that great. I know you don't.
You know I don't.
But from what I've seen from Tom Holland, it's his best film. It's a heavy-going film, though. There's a lot of stuff happening in it.
You don't like Afterlife. You don't like not the Afterlife. Ricky Gervais's Afterlife.
I don't love it.
No, what would it? Well, at first you found it
Ghostbusters
depressing.
Afterlife.
At first, I went back to it and got into it because it were a time. There were a period of time where the in thing was depressing comedy. So he did Afterlife. Paul Rudd did that one.
Well, that's what we're going to say.
And then Jim Carrey did
Kidding.
that. They were like them three all at the same time, and it were about doing depressing comedy.
Yeah.
But then I went back to Afterlife and loved it.
It is good.
Loved it.
But that's what we're going to say. You're not a fan of these depressing things. I found The Devil All the Time, and maybe it's because I were like not in mood anyway. But I found it beyond depressing. If you were to tell you some of the stuff that happens in it, it just got towards the end, and I just thought, what the fucking hell am I watching? It's so depressing. I couldn't even tell you the meaning or the matter of the film. It's based on a book. And yeah, it's well shot, it's well put together, it's a good acting in it, but it's so.
But is it a good film? If that's what it wants to be,
I don't know. It's Tarantino-esque with the Bible.
Right.
It's a very hard-hitting film. Like, basically, I don't want to spoil it, but it's about.
I think I am going to watch it.
It's about constantly coming up against challenges in life, but like not the kind of challenges that me and you face. Like back in those, because this is like saying like the. I can't remember. It's a bit of a periodic film. It kind of goes from like there's a bit in 30s, a bit in 50s, a bit 60s, but it's all about the trouble that they used to face. You know, like with like Bonnie and Clyde type people, but it's kind of like how it's basically having your own bat and ball and looking out for yourself.
Right. Yeah. There's no law and
it's
your
a bit.
own law.
It's a bit like that.
Again, it's such an open canvas of what to make of it. I don't know what the gist of the movie was. I'm gutted you haven't watched it because there's a segment at the end I'd love to talk about.
It's like that. It's like you said, Rob. There's certain films that you know are out there, but it takes you that. See, when you say you get it in your head and you've got to watch it, I need proper like motivation to get down, and especially a film like that.
No, it went beyond.
It's a film that I know that I'm going to have to like. Right, there's really no else that I really want to watch. I'm going to dive into this.
Put it this way: when you're fed up and that and stressed out, and you'd think, I'm going to put a film on. That was the worst film I could have possibly picked. I'm not kidding you. If I end it, I would like.
What I mean, it's
well. Let's leave it for now. I'm going to watch it and then we'll talk
watch it in 3 weeks when you've watched it.
Yeah, it probably will be. We'll come back to that.
No, there's so basically, so you know these like TV evangelists like off.
I can't do with them to do me head in.
But imagine them, right? But in an extreme manner that actually they're not trying to sell tickets or all. They actually believe, repent and Jesus will save you. That that sort of
I can't
in them old 1940s churches and that where they're all scared. It's like it is harrowing and horrible. A lot of it is. There's no two ways about it. But I just got to end and but what's the answer? Why watch something like that is so? And I know you can't really comment because you haven't seen it, but it's all negative and horrible. And I'm not saying you should only watch Flowers and Roses, but do you know what I'm trying to say? Why watch it?
I suppose that'd be answered by somebody who watches EastEnders, because I find that bloody depressing.
Yeah, but if I knew what that film was thoroughly going to be before I watched it, I wouldn't have watched it. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll see, because we've got to bind this, so we'll see what happens when I watch it. So what you've been watching at minute, Tom?
Well, we've already mentioned a couple of the things I watched, like The Notebook and Devil All the Time. I think the only other film that I've watched was Scream 4.
Oh, well, we're going to move on.
But you know what? I forgot how
bad it is. I've seen it once, and I can vaguely remember it. I won't watch it again.
What interested me, I know how it's saying, but we'd watched all 3, and you know what? They get worse as they go on. 3 is where it starts to get really iffy. But then I couldn't remember who the killers were in 4, and if you can remember, no, I couldn't.
It's as blatant as how it can be.
But as I'm watching it, obviously I knew.
Yeah,
and it's that. In its end, it's just when it gets to that bit, you just want to go. Oh,
you need to watch Robin's Wish with Robin.
Yeah,
Williams.
we mentioned that last
really
podcast. The one that the dog ate.
You could come round and we'll watch it. Dog.
Get lost.
We'll have some marshmallows.
I've actually been watching a lot of stuff because Boys is back. So I've absolutely been hammering season 2.
The Boys are back in town.
Is amazing, so amazing. Which made me start to think, these superhero ones. So I went back and started watching Doom Patrol again.
Oh yeah, in Brendan Fraser in that.
Yeah, he plays Robot Man, and it's not as bad as I remembered. Robot Man, Cliff Steele.
I don't know about it.
So there's season 1 and season 2, so I've got that to get into. But I've started watching first.
You know what? I need to get into The Boys because I've not even finished season 1.
Boys is brilliant.
It is really good, isn't it?
It's so
solidly made.
You just don't know where it's going to go.
You know what? It's like all these streaming services have got their own flagship titles.
Yeah.
But that is a strong IP for Amazon Prime to have in it. It's a well-made, solid program.
Because I don't think they expect it to take off like it has.
Totally. And it's like it must be one of Amazon's top things.
Homelander's such a horrible character, though, isn't it?
He's frightening, because you just want someone there.
Yeah, you're powerless.
Who's the same as Powers, same as him, as somebody like Superman to come and proper take him.
I love that episode in first series where they've got. I don't know if you'll remember that guy who can turn invisible. I can't remember his
Translucent.
name. Yeah, they've got Translucent, and Homelander's looking for him, and they know he's outside, but they can't speak because he's got super hearing, and they can see through walls, and and you just think to yourself, "Oh my god, that would actually be terrifying."
Yeah, you never think in that context.
See, the thing is, I'm not always a big fan of these, as I've said before, of these comic book shows where they've took a comic and then made it into a TV show. I weren't happy with what they did with Preacher. In the comic, they all have powers. The boys, they've all super strong, invulnerable. Do you know, like she is female. They've all got the same. So there's not that feeling of the feeling that you get with this is like you said of could happen any time. And that they are that scared of what he's going to do, which you didn't get in comic because they knew that they'd take him on. But in this, because they've got no powers
so they rewrote the main characters.
So the main characters now don't have powers. None of them have powers.
Well, that's very different, isn't it?
And the other one, they did. Because when he meets him at first, that Huey, he gives him that compound V, injects him.
Oh, I ain't got to that bit.
No. In comic, they've not done that. This is what I'm saying. In TV show, they've got no powers.
They might keep it going and eventually go on to that.
But this is what I'm saying. They've got such a different feel because, like you said, that bit where they know Homelander, you're all like, God, you feel terror.
If he were after you, what would you do?
Yeah, exactly.
That bit with plane where he gets on plane and he's introducing himself, and then he thinks, I can't bother with this.
Yeah.
What about that last Timmy who's like a mental Wolverine? Do you remember?
That what?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. They took back halfway season 1, and she's in that.
Oh, they unlock. They're looking for that drug thing where A-Train buys his drugs from or whatever, and they go and there's this Asian woman locked up, and he lets her out. She just pounces and she's kills people right intensely. You look great puzzled. Yeah, it's a female.
No, I meant Wolverine is in full of rage, violent, rip everything to shreds.
Just
again,
such a good
even
show.
with them, you feel tension and panic with that as well.
Yeah.
That guy who's a good link with that though, because the main guy who in it, Simon Pegg's son.
Yeah.
He's been cast in Scream 5, so we'll be watching that.
Oh God, the worst thing of that is you're right. We will be watching.
Did you see what got announced the other day?
No.
Scream 6.
We've moved on from movie news. Why did you not put this in
Scream
movie
6
news?
has been greenlit allegedly.
Oh God! Don't surprise me. It's because I think they've done what Halloween, because Halloween's done well. They've done next 2 Halloween films back to back, haven't they?
Yeah, and delayed it by a bloody year. Fuck you, coronavirus. Sorry.
Right, that's bringing old news up again that everything's delayed.
Yeah.
Another thing I've been watching, which obviously I think you guys would hate because it's not your thing, but it's Long Way Up, and it's Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah, we're on the bike ride.
Going the bike ride. I loved Others, Long Way Round and Long Way Down, so that's just come on and they've stuck about 4 episodes on. So I've been watching.
He does it on his electric bike, doesn't he?
I'll tell you one thing that I have been watching. Back on, like I said, on terrestrial TV, a lot of this at minute, because of this COVID, nobody's been able to do any documentaries at all. So what there's been a lot of on telly, pretty much all over the place, is all these people who do sort of like travel documentaries and all this and that have been doing like best ofs, but they've all been really good. Louis Theroux has done like a best of.
I know.
Now that guy
to watch that.
is brilliant.
He
I
is.
don't know if you. I mean,
he's a national treasure, isn't he?
I know you guys must have watched some Louis Theroux.
Oh yeah, I've watched. I feel as though I've watched all of it because when I go on, he's got a lot on Netflix, and when I go on and I'm scrolling through, I'm like, seen that. Watch
some
that,
of them
watch
are
that, watch that.
some of them are horrible. I remember me and my dad used to watch him all the time. He'd like, oh Rob, Louis Theroux's on today. That one where he visits the meth county in America.
Yeah,
horrendous. Thing is with him, he's got a very clever style. He presents the facts and lets them speak. He never puts it on.
Yeah, he never interrupts them because he allows them to fall into his trap and say there were it reminded me because she said about TV evangelist. And there's one where
the
he
most
goes to
hated
see
family in America.
Well, they've not been on yet, but I watched all of them. All of them.
I see.
But I seriously go back and watch him because what he's doing is he's picked like a subject. So last week were about crime and punishment. So he went back and goes all like about 4 stories or 4 documentaries, and then he goes and speaks to people. I mean, these are done like 13, 15 years ago. So I mean, he's 50 now.
One of my favourite ones is Louis' Weird Weekends. It's a series where he basically
have
you seen the one when he he's very young in it, a lot younger. When he goes to New York and he does a audition to be an actor,
a porn star.
No, he tries out to be in like a musical and he's like singing and stuff. And I just thought that was such a good episode.
Well, he goes. There's one where he goes to be a porn star.
Yeah, I've seen that. He revisits them, doesn't he?
Yeah, because because me and
I'm
Claire have been
Louis, how do
watching
you
it,
do?
And one of the guys that he talked to him first, and when he goes back second time, he's like committed suicide because he can't deal with it. And it shows you that, like, if you thought, like, when you were younger, porn star, porn film, must be brilliant and that, and then it shows you that it's proper.
I think didn't the guy do gay porn? And
there were another guy that he saw like that. But
he struggled with
there was another guy.
You know, interesting fact, we've only got a minute or so left. Who would you say is the most famous documentarian in the UK, like ever in the UK?
It's Attenborough, isn't it?
Today?
Who?
Attenborough.
Today, David Attenborough. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
David Attenborough's joined Instagram. Most followers, like.
Have you seen that Louis Theroux episode when he goes to that like paedophile centre?
Can you do it?
And we're on this
and
week.
That bloke says he says he talks about it, and this guy's openly saying that he's attracted to children, and Louis goes, "Well, how would you feel knowing that the majority of the viewers who see this would actually want you dead?"
That's the one where he looks in his wall and on his wall in that cell, and he's got a picture of a naked young boy. And Louis like,
it's like because I watched this last week. They're like ballerinas and ballet dancers.
Yeah, I remember.
And he's saying to this guy who's like in charge, "Is he right to have that on?" "Oh yeah, they're in age." And he's "Really, you sure?"
Yeah, they get rid of it. Don't
Oh,
they?
there's so much I could talk about with that. But
Can you do a good Attenborough impression? We will say goodbye. I can't do it.
I thought he'd
No.
just done that.
No.
I
No,
thought
that
that
was-
was more like Attenborough and Louis Theroux.
Here's Tony, and if you look at Tony, he's looking for
The
his next.
animals, Chris.
It's gone downhill.
He's looking-
It's gone. We've
looking
lost
for his
control.
next- And here's Bruce, the calm control.
Gone.
The animals.
Rabid animal.
The
Rabid
animal.
animal. Fetch me a gun.
And the apes. Great, the podcast. I know, I'm better than that. I can
Right.
do a good Kermit the Frog one.
Right, that's it. We're over and out for this week. I could talk about Louis Theroux more, which we may do, so goodbye.
See you
See
later.
ya.
Bye, everyone.